We begin with the latest in the conflict in Gaza, where it's been reported that the U.S. has carried out its first airdrop of aid for the territory. Thousands of meals have been parachuted in by 3 military planes that follows a pledge on Friday by President Biden. Meanwhile, Egyptian sources say talks on trying to secure a ceasefire in Gaza are due to resume in Cairo on Sunday. It's understood there has been some progress, but the violence has been continuing. At least 13 Palestinians, including a medic, are reported to have been killed by an Israeli airstrike near a hospital. And a United Nations team visiting Gaza's biggest hospital has found that many Palestinians who were injured as lorries were delivering aid on Thursday were wounded by gunshots. American officials have confirmed that the U.S. military has carried out its first airdrop of humanitarian aid into Gaza. Let's take a look at these pictures. Here you can see U.S. military planes flying over Dar al-Bala in the central Gaza Strip. American officials, over 35,000 meals were dropped by parachute. It comes after a promise by President Biden on Friday, following the deaths of 112 Palestinians during a rush on an aid convoy on Thursday. Let's get more on this now from our Washington correspondent, Will Vernon. Well, good to see you. Good morning to you there in D.C. Tell us more about what U.S. officials have been saying. That's right. We received the statement from the U.S. military saying that this first airdrop has been carried out. That was done in coordination together with the Jordanian Air Force, some C-130 aircraft dropping over 38,000 meals along the coastline of Gaza, say the U.S. military. Now, this will not be the first. This will be part of an ongoing mission. There's expected to be many of these. U.S. officials say Israel is supportive of the mission, and it's being carefully planned to ensure that there aren't any civilian casualties on the ground, because this is a very complex and actually a very inefficient way of delivering aid. Getting aid in by trucks via land routes is actually much simpler and much more efficient. So, I think the fact that the U.S. has opted for this method not only shows how serious the humanitarian crisis is in Gaza, but it also, I think, shows that the U.S. wants to send a message that more aid needs to get in by land. And indeed, in that statement from the U.S. military today, it says these airdrops are part of a sustained effort to get more aid into Gaza, including by expanding the flow of aid through land corridors and routes. Will, I want to pick up on what you mentioned there, this slight nuanced shift in the U.S. position, because America has been supportive, generally speaking, of Israeli activity, but this is a change in tone, and this promise by President Biden on Friday was a shift in that U.S. position. What's the trajectory of this, do you think? That's right. I mean, we've been hearing a kind of increasing